All right, so to get started, I already have all of my colors that I've tested out, and I'm gonna start working directly on my final. So all of these have been cleaned off using clean off paper. I've tested all of my colors, okay? So I've mixed them to match, and now I'm just looking to apply, okay? So a couple things, I'm going to start mixing and matching these colors down here just to give you an idea of, what it is I'm doing. So my goal here is to mix and match. And so I'm gonna start by just adding the lightest version possible of my darker color. So remember, to mix this color, I did what? A slight, like really minimal pressure with black and then added the red on top. Okay, so I can always go back and make this darker. It's a little bit harder to make it lighter. Okay, so I'm gonna add this up here. It kind of looks dark in this area. So again, I'm adding this color as light as I can. I can always add another layer to make it darker. It's just a little bit harder to try and lighten it. And I'm gonna skip this area here. It's a little bit lighter in here. It's a little bit darker here. Bella's in the video. Okay. And then this area here is a nice, pretty maroon color. So I'm gonna add again. Okay. Lighter color. Okay. So now I'm gonna attempt to add my red in on top and see if I can match this maroon color. And so I am going to press kind of hard and see what I end up with. I may need to go back and adjust. And you can see how this is making like a really, really nice maroon sort of color. So it's a far cry from your sort of Crayola red that you see here. So by adding that smidge of black in it, it just deepened it ever so slightly. And I'm gonna add this here. You can see how when I add this lighter color on top using pretty hard pressure, that it really does set the color and blend it together. Okay. Now, what I'm noticing, and again, this image is not true to color. My printer is running out of ink here. What I'm noticing is I like this color that I mixed. It's not exact for my liking. I don't have a purple on hand, but it's a little bit purpley. I could add that on here, on top, blend it in, maybe add a smidge of red. I'm gonna try adding a little bit of pink on top and see if I can blend it, if it gives me something similar to what I'm looking for. So in the lighter area, I'll add the pink. Actually, that's not too horrible. So it's kind of creating more of a purpley color. Nice, okay. So adding that kind of changed it just a little bit. So from red to like more of a purple, which I'm seeing on my copy. All right, I'm liking that. That's actually really nice. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna work my way up my flower plant. So I'm just starting wherever on here. And I, at this point, can mix this color here. So to mix that one, I think I had a little bit of light, like the red I pressed light, and then I added the pink, and then I faded it into the peach. So I'm gonna try that for this next area. Because I just used the red for the black, I've gotta clean it off. Otherwise, I'm gonna get that unwanted color in there. So after I do some color blendings, just reminder, clean off your oil pastels. Okay, because once you get other color in them, streaks of colors you don't want, you really can't go back and fix it, okay? Because this is a light pinky sort of color here, I am going to just press really lightly with my red. So I'm going to keep it light. I can go back and adjust it later if it's not exactly what I want. So much easier to make something darker than to make it lighter. Okay, so I'm looking at how far that pink area goes up. And I am trying to press lightly with it. I can be a little bit more generous with the pressure where there's a little bit of a shadow here. Okay, and it looks like the pink is kind of coming up to this. Okay, so I'm going to do that to start, and then I am going to press kind of hard with my pink on top and kind of blend it out. So I'm going to look where the pink ends up. Going into that, like that peach color. This kind of comes all the way up here. Okay, now I'm going to press a lot harder with it. So press harder. And I'm not going to press hard all the way because I'm noticing as I press hard that this is a little bit too dark for me. Looks like I might need to work the peach in. So I'm just doing like kind of a medium pressure up at the top, and then I can press a little bit harder towards the bottom. So I'm adjusting as I'm going. So right here, this is looking good, and then I am going to blend it into the peach. Okay. And so as I add the peach in, I'm going to do it light at first, and then I am going to press harder. So I'm just going to add it in here. All right, and already that's looking a lot better in terms of color matching. So I'm bringing that over top of the pink where they're kind of blending together in this area here. I'm going to bring the peach all the way up to the top, and then I probably blend it with white because that top area here is a lot lighter. So I'm keeping the peach towards the top a lot lighter. Okay, and then lastly, let's see what I got here. I'm going to clean off this white really good. And I'm going to start to add that white in here to make it that tint of peach, make it even lighter. And I can bring that as far down as I need to create that highlight. So I'm adding the white. And I'm pressing pretty hard. This is going to be my last layer. All right, actually that's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. The last thing I can do here, if I wanted to, is there's a lot of these like little tiny like red lines in here that I can go back in and add as details. So if I wanted to do that, I could. Okay, to bring that back in. If I wanted to add it all the way to up, I could. So I have some of those detail lines already in here. Okay. So I have something that kind of looks like that. Actually, that's not too terrible. Let me put this here. Sorry, I forgot to do that part. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, adding this dark area here, pressing hard with the red. And then actually, I think I'm gonna make that a smidge darker. It looks a little bit darker in my photo. So I'm gonna add smallest amount of black over top of the red, and then see if I can add a little bit more of the red in. Yep, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so this is essentially how you're gonna be layering your oil pastels. Okay, so you saw me mix both tints and shades, right? So shade of a color is darker version, tint of a color lighter version. You saw me with whatever colors I knew I was mixing together. I started with the darker one and did a base layer really lightly at first with the darker one, pressed a little bit harder with the lighter one, and worked them back and forth really until I got the color mixture I was looking for, okay? You'll notice that my final layer, so let me kind of put this closer to camera. My final layer doesn't have any of the flecks of the white of the paper showing through. So it is like pure color. It's not using the oil pastel like Crayola crayon. So give this a shot as you're working. Key being, make sure you clean off your oil pastels before you start and throughout your process. Right now you can see this one here, how it's got all kinds of other color mixed in because I used it on top of the black, okay? So just be aware that you're gonna have to do a lot of cleaning off, okay, throughout your process in order to capture the colors accurately as you see it and not to mess up the final.